Good day. Welcome to Samsung, a multinational technology company that strives to devote its talent and technology to creating superior products and services that contribute to a better global society. To achieve this, we set a high value on its people and technologies. We believe that living by strong values is the key to good business. That's why our core values, along with a rigorous code of conduct, are at the heart of every decision the company makes. Our core values place an emphasis on people, excellent change, integrity, and co-prosperity. You may be wondering why you have to watch this training video. Because of the recent release of our latest product, the Samsung Galaxy Life, Seoul, South Korea is about to initiate rapid distribution of the product and have called its U.S. counterparts, us, to discuss negotiations. Now, before we start, let's remind you once more of what we are about. Here at Samsung, we take integrity, operating in an ethical way to ensure fairness, respect for all our people, and complete transparency quite seriously. Thus, we want to make sure our low-context employees are well informed on how to engage in culturally sensitive business communication to our high-context partners. Let's get started. To start off, thanks to globalization, cultural diversity is holding influence that continues to increase over the economic sector of global society. This necessitates the need for managers, leaders, and educators to educate themselves and gain competence in cross-cultural communication. In fact, according to Kaufman et al., various developments in the field of modern information and communication technology, increasing cross-border corporations, and implicit knowledge management challenges have influenced the need for higher levels of cultural competence of leaders, managers, and students alike. Furthermore, as stated by Kaufman et al., companies that have effectively developed diversity management have been shown to be able to successfully improve their internal operations and also increase their competitive advantage. Thus, it is within the best interest of our company and the people it serves for our employees, including you who are going out of the country, to watch a training video on intercultural business communication. As we have stated before, unlike our culture, South Korea is a high context culture. And by acknowledging the high context behavioral business etiquette, your time in South Korea will prosper. Once again, South Korea is a high context culture relying heavily on nonverbal communication. Respect and hierarchy are vital characteristics of South Korean culture. This is important when addressing people who are older than you, those whose jobs positions are above your own, as it is a sign of respect to the person you are speaking with. South Korea has a collectivistic culture whereby community and family are much more central than the individual self. This is important to remember, as while direct confrontations in speech with employees from America is the norm, these actions are considered rude and impolite in South Korea. Being informed and knowledgeable about the culture of certain high-context countries such as South Korea or even Latin America or Africa will open both our company and our employees to endless possibilities and the power to grow Samsung throughout the world. Now that we've talked about low-context and high-context cultures, let's take a look at some of the practices in relation to high context cultures that one should not do in South Korea. First, let's talk about shoes. Part of both social and business etiquette in South Korea is the removal of your shoes before you continue inside of a building. As evident in a high context culture, relationships must be formed in order to conduct business with employees as well as potential clients and investors. Forming relationships often takes more time than the given availability in the work schedule, which means you will likely spend time outside of work developing relationships with your coworkers and clients. Most of this comes in the form of dining. Food is extremely important in contribution to Korean culture. It is important to recognize the simple rules within it, which includes taking off your shoes. Taking off your shoes before entering a business or dining place is respectful to the host or employer of the group. Due to its roots in the tradition and heritage of South Korea, you may not be permitted inside of certain buildings if you do not remove your shoes. In the cases that you are allowed in, it will be seen as being deeply disrespectful to your host or employer. This shows a lack of cultural knowledge and awareness which can distance you from growing social bonds to improve our company. Now, let's talk about handshaking. Handshaking is a relatively newer form of greeting within South Korean business. This is why it is important to take note the difference between our low context culture's way of giving handshakes in comparison to those in South Korea. Firstly, the The handshake should be initiated by the person of higher title or age in full prospect of following the hierarchical recognition in South Korea. When shaking the other person's hand, it should be soft and abrupt. Having a strong and rough handshake is considered coarse and rude within South Korean business etiquette, and as a Samsung employee, you must learn to adapt to this style of handshaking to better off both our company and your experience in South Korea. Now, let's move on to bowing. In South Korea, a slight bow is a normal greeting between two people. In this, you should keep your hands at your sides or folded in front of your stomach with your legs together, bowing at a 30 to 45-degree angle. This is important in initial meetings between yourself and your fellow South Korean employer because it shows professionalism between the two of you. You should bow whenever you greet another person and when you leave a conversation. Bowing can also be a way of showing an apology. While bowing at a 90-degree angle is acceptable, it is recommended not to. A 90-degree bow is a form of utter respect, complete showing service and obedience. However, it can come across as you are trying to mock the culture as a foreigner, as well as that you are trying to appeal too forward to your employee. Now, when greeting others in South Korea, it is important to remain professional in your business situation. Bowing is a respectful way to do so, while waving your hand as a way to say hello is deemed rude and impolite to the receiver as you are not formally recognizing the person. This is important in hierarchical situations as you do not want to disrespect your employer and others who have power over you. Now that you have watched our Intercultural Business Communication Sensitivity Training Program, you can now facilitate communication with our high context clients and engage in intercultural communication with few challenges, few barriers, and more productivity for Samsung. Have a nice trip. Thank you.